The rain drums on the tin roof like impatient fingers tapping against bone. Outside my window, the compound dissolves into liquid shadow, swallowed whole by the storm. Only the guttering lantern on my porch pushes back the dark, its flame casting quivering, skeletal shapes across the mud. It's just another wet season night, I tell myself. Yet the air clings thick and cloying, tasting of stale water and the electric tang of snapped power lines. My grandmother's stories surface like oil on water. She'd whisper of small things that emerge when the heavens weep, things that ride the downpour towards warm houses and sleeping souls. Takalashes, she called them. Mischief makers in the dark. I'd laugh then. Now, nursing weak tea, I notice the lantern's light shudders violently for a heartbeat, as if something passed before it. Just wind, surely. But my nape prickles, cold as river stones on bare skin. The shadows beneath my sagging bookshelf seem unnaturally deep, pooling like spilled ink. A dampness seeps through the iron door frame, staining the wood black. Not rain, this smells sour, like mushrooms rotting under wet leaves. My reflection in the window pane flickers, distorted for an instant. Did I just see movement? Low, quick, gone. My knuckles whiten around the mug. Silence presses in, heavy and sharp. When the lantern flares again, I swear the mud just beyond its halo shifts, reshapes. As if small, heavy feet just pressed into the mire. But no prints remain. Only that lingering scent, earthy decay mingling with my rising sweat. I force myself towards the door. Must check the lantern. Rain lashes my face as I step onto the porch, each drop icy and sharp. The flame gutters wildly inside its glass prison, throwing frantic, dancing shapes. Shadows. Stretch, coil, recoil. That smell intensifies wet fur and grave soil. My hand trembles, reaching for the lantern handle. The mud below the step isn't smooth. It's pocked, like dozens of tiny, clawed feet have danced there. Fresh tracks, or just the rain. A sudden, unnatural chill snakes up my calves as if icy water were rising from the ground itself. The lantern flickers, dims, plunging the porch into near darkness. Something rustles. In the dripping bougainvillea, not whined, too deliberate, too close, my breath catches razor sharp in my throat. Back inside, lock the door. The bolt slides home, solid, safe. Yet the damp rot smell slithers under the door. Heavy moisture beads on the walls, tracing slow, glistening paths. Condensation, or something pressing against the other side. I retreat to the center of the room. The lantern outside steadies, throwing long, distorted silhouettes through the window. One shadow doesn't move with the flickering light. It's small, hunched, crouched near the baseboard. My eyes water trying to focus. Was that shadow always there? It seems to pulse. Darker than dark, the pressure builds in my temples, throbbing like deep drumbeats felt rather than heard. Whispers ride the downpour's rhythm, sibilant fragments lost beneath the storm's roar. Imagination. Exhaustion, but the chill is real. It settles in my marrow. The air tastes metallic now, old pennies and rust. Something grazes my ankle, a cold, wet scrape. I jerk back, stifling a cry, nothing there. Just water seeping across the floorboards. Spreading, dark, reflecting the lantern's frantic dance and something else. A shape, low, moving, gone before I truly see it. My skin crawls. Paranoia wraps. Fingers around my windpipe. My hand drifts to the iron nail driven into the doorframe years ago, Nana's ward. She swore it pinned the shadows down. Now it feels absurd. Cold, useless metal. The lantern flickers violently. Gone, pitch blackness swallows the room for 3 suffocating heartbeats. When light stutters back, the nail glints, bent sideways, as if immense, impossible force twisted it from within the wood. My pulse hammers. Against my ribs, every shadow writhes with unseen intent. The rainwater pooling near the threshold shifts. Ripples spread outwards against gravity, forming tiny whirlpools spinning backwards. The sourrot stench thickens, coating my tongue. That persistent whisper threads through the downpour again, just below comprehension. Desperate, I grab a flashlight. The beam trembles as I sweep it across the floor. Dust motes dance, and something else. Tiny, wet footprints glistening on the boards, leading not towards the door, but towards my bedroom. Fresh, dripping, my blood turns to sludge. The footprints end abruptly at the foot of my bed. Above them, the blanket hangs low, nearly touching the floor. It shivers. Just a draft, please, just a draft. I force my legs forward. 1 step. 2. The air grows colder, heavier. That wet earth smell intensifies, ripe, with something like decayed teeth. My flashlight beam wavers on the edge of the blanket, illuminating a dark, damp stain blooming across the fabric, tiny, like the outline of a crouching form. The silence shatters. Not a sound, but a sudden, immense pressure in the room, the brutal silence of stopped breath. The lantern outside snuffs out. Final, absolute, total darkness crashes down. I fumble for the flashlight switch. It clicks uselessly. Rain hammers the roof loud, deafening, the only sound in the universe. But beneath it, beneath the drumming water, a new sound blooms. Soft, rhythmic, like ragged breathing inches from my face. It smells of deep mud and wet fur. Cold air stirs against my cheek. Something shifts under the bed. A low, guttural vibration thrums through the floorboards, felt more than heard. My ward, the bent nail, was no shield. It was a challenge, and now the air itself seems to crouch low in the consuming dark. Waiting, breathing, the rain drums on. Tap, tap, tap against the tin, like impatient fingers on bone. And beneath that sound, something else crawls closer.